As a child and young person, I was always drawn to wild places. I loved big seas and waves and thunderstorms, gales, mountains, forests. Those were always the places that I was most at home. When I was 18, I did a slightly crazy thing and I went for 9 months and lived in the jungles of Zaire in the middle of Africa. 6 years, 6 miles, sorry, 6 hours from the nearest town or supermarket or tar road or anything. Really remote kind of places. And I've lived and worked in many places like that and in dangerous places. So in Somalia, at the end of the war there, in Rwanda before the genocide. So I've worked in and lived in very dangerous and very wild places. But there's something that I find myself most alive in those places that are wild. I love the mountains. I love being in the mountains. I love being by the sea or on the sea or in the sea, in a gale, in a storm. For me, these wild places are where I feel most alive. And they're where I most easily actually engage with God and engage with His presence and turn to Him and, if you like, stay in His presence. There's something raw, majestic, something holy about these places, these times. And yet, so much of my life is spent now not in wild places, but in very safe places, in a comfortable home, in safe Desborough, in relatively safe and secure and stable England, in nice surroundings with nice people. And yet, my experience of life has been that it's in my comfort zones, in that safety, where I tend to compromise my faith more, where it's easier just to slip into the kind of the mediocrity, I suppose, of our culture. And it's in the more dangerous places. It's in the wild places where I find that actually God can really do His best work in me. It's the times of distress, the times when things get really difficult, or when there's real grief or difficulty in life. Those seem to be the times where God breaks through. I've been reading a book recently. It's called Your God is Too Safe. And the author talks about how for many of us, when we find God, we become Christians, we get drawn towards Jesus, that our tendency then is to stay kind of just inside, like sort of at the, if you like, at the coast, not venturing into the interior, not moving forward. And the author calls that the holy wild. And there's something for me about that phrase, the holy wild, that's been resonating in my soul. I love wild places. And so there's something about, actually, it's the holy wild that I'm drawn to. That's where I want my faith to be going. I find myself stuck in this, very often in this place of wanting that, of wanting the kind of God to be the Aslan, the sort of dangerous lion, that calls me to radical discipleship, not the kind of tame, mediocre British Christian. Anyway, so I have written a poem. I've started writing poems over the last couple of years. I haven't really shared them, and I've been encouraged to do so. So here's a poem, what I wrote, which is called Holy Wild. Safe. Be safe, stay safe, avoid risk, ensure everything, everywhere, always. Make life predictable, controllable, comfortable, no nasty surprises, everything tamed, anything wild, banished. And yet I hear, come, follow me, step out of the boat, leave father and mother, fields and job, go to the ends of the earth. Get up, kill and eat. This lion God is not safe, but he is good. And yet the faith I've lived reeks of compromised, any sting removed, made comfortable, tame, safe. The wild has always called to me, frontiersman named and ringing true, bracken diving, roadie jumping, jungle loving, wave swimming, heat, snow, wind, alive in extremes. Drawn to the wild, and until now known but unnamed, to the holy wild, to wonder, beauty, simplicity, to mystery, radical, uncompromising. I live caught in between, held in the tentacles of culture, ensnared in the net of normal, trapped in the prison of safe, fettered, compromised, tamed. And yet, as the mountain peak and the far horizon call, so too does the song of the holy wild. My deepest longing, my heart's desire, to let go of safe, to break out of tame, to run in the holy wild.